not much.
Do you remember like the last conversation you had with them or no?
I think I was drunk. So I don't. That's sometimes I hate telling this, but it's an attitude error, right?
Right.
Often I'm asked because I'm single still, and I'm still, even though I'm a little bit older now, I still love my ladies. And somebody had brought it out, and they said, "Well, how old were you the first time you had sex?" I said, "Well, I was just about 5." And they said something, so, but don't ask me about it because I was too drunk to remember.
Oh no. This attitude ever to the next level. So let me ask you this before we get into, because I want to end with
Okay.
the Roddy Piper story.
Okay.
But closing off the whole you and Shawn thing, there was a while where people would chant Marty Jannetty. I don't know if you remember when we were watching
Not
Marty
the Jannetty
Jannetty.
part, but
Marty. And then in 2005, you came back and
Yeah,
you teamed
the
up with
reunion,
Shawn.
yeah.
What went into that, and was it were
my
you happy
gosh.
to see him again? Was it all
Well,
happy?
I had went through some things that I had gotten another DUI, and in the state of Florida, when you get 3, it becomes a felony. So I was going to be going through some shit. I thought I was going to do some serious time, which I ended up doing 9 months. Not yet, but I mean, it was building up. I thought I was going to do it the first time, but yeah, it's a long story, so I won't tell that. It had to do with me contemplating like ending it all, because I just went through a 5-year period of no driving, and I was a couple months away from getting my license back.
Right.
And then that shit happened. There's a long story to that. We'll skip that. But I basically tried to do everything right that night, and I got frustrated. I couldn't get my friends to drive me home. I wasn't going to drink because I had drove to this place to meet this girl from TV, local TV. She was a sports anchor, and she came to the wrestling school and wanted to do a piece on the school, and her and I ended up hitting it off and liking her. And my brother had a heart attack, who's my second hero in life, my dad being my first. And he had a heart attack, so I was wanting to go home to see him, but I couldn't drive, and I was house sitting for my friend who went on his honeymoon. It's too long the story to shorten it now, but I ended up going out, and she had a date. She brought a date with her where she told me to meet her, and I'm like, what the fuck? and she calls me, and I'm sitting 3 tables back because I wasn't going to go. I thought maybe it was some of her news people, Channel 9 news people with her, because they were cool people, but I didn't know because he's got his arm around her, so I just sat there and waited for a while. And she calls, she goes, "Where you at?" I'm about 3 tables back. She goes, "Oh, you see then, I brought a boy with me." Yeah, but yeah, I see that. Thanks for inviting me out here. And so some of my boys came through from the gym, and they were like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm supposed to be with her." And they're all hugged up over there. And, so they're, "Fuck that girl. No, I'm not. No, leave her alone. Leave her alone." Everyone was going to go cuss her out. She's a sports girl on TV. They're like, "No way, she's right there." Fuck that bitch. But so I sat with them, and it was $5 or $2 margarita pitchers. And they were like, "Here, man, have a drink." No, I can't. I drove. I can't. I'm not going to drink and drive, because I had 2 months still to wait. And it was just a little short trip to meet her at that place. And I was trying to keep my mind off, and I wasn't able to drive home 4 or 5 hours to get to my brother. And thank God he had called and said, "Don't worry about getting here. I'm going to be okay." That helped. But so, they finally, I said, "Okay, give me a drink." One of them. I had one, so you know what happened from there. I had an old picture from me before long. And even then, I was told that one of the guys said, "I'll take you home, don't worry about driving." So, okay, I'll drink with him a little bit. It turned into a bunch. And finally he said, "I got to go, man, let's go." And got in the car. He was a UFC fighter. And I was all intrigued with that because I did a little bit of it myself, along with the wrestling and sports. Got in his truck, actually, and we're driving. I'm asking him UFC fighting questions. He's asking me wrestling questions. Time's gone, and we look up, and we're in front of another club. And I'm going to try to hurry so we can get her.
Oh, no, you're great.
And so I look up, we're in front of Yanni's, which is another hot spot in town. And this is when I was living in Tallahassee, Florida. Florida State's right there. There's a lot of young girls. I mean, at that time, I was like 40s. It was still too old for 20-year-olds, right? But I could look. And asked if they had a sister or a mother nearby. But I was like, man, I gotta go. I thought you was taking me home. And then by the time I'm saying that, these two girls come walking by, their tits hanging out the top and beautiful. And I'm like, all right, we're going for one. Girls are my kryptonite, I can tell you that. But, so we went in for one, and I did a shot with those girls actually, and cutting up with them. But time goes by, and I'm like, I gotta get out of here. I mean, I wanted to get back to the house the whole night, really. And so I went and said, he told him, I got to go, man. You going to take me or not? Because I was going to get a taxi. And he goes, I'll be right there. I don't know how long that went. And then y'all get to edit this?
Yeah.
All this is going to get edited out.
No, you're great.
I'm still going to cut right to it.
This all is going to be in the final.
And it's kind of amazing, but it's just long. And if you cut some of it out, it don't hit as much as what happened. So anyway, I said, fuck it, I'm going to get a cab. And I walked up to the bartender, and he goes, you ain't got a call when you're right there. It was like a little stand. They come through. I walked to go get a cab to go home. I was just going to leave. And he goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm going home, man. I told you I needed to be there. I'll go, okay. And so we get back in the car, and he's going to take me home. And we're talking again. Same shit, UFC, wrestling, pro wrestling. And I look up, and we're right back where we started. It was like a pool. It was called Pockets, a little pool hall sports bar. And I went, what the fuck are you doing? Sorry about the language. Edit that, I guess. It's the attitude.
Attitude there. You can curse as much as you want.
And so he's like, well, I'm going to catch my girl. And his is a UFC fighter, right? I mean, he's going to hurt somebody, and I don't need to be a part of it, all right? But he wants to go in there and catch his wife. I said, come on, man. Damn, it's 2 miles that way. You can't run me to the house first? And he was like, I just want to catch her. I just want to catch her. Fuck, I'm not going to let him get jumped on by others. I know no one guy's going to get him, but they got friends with him. So I go in there, and he's chit-chatting, had another drink, waiting. I said, fuck it. Went to the front, ordered a cab there. The security, bouncer guys, like, please get me a cab. And they called. 15 minutes go by, 20 minutes, and I was drunk now. It seemed like forever. And I'm sitting there fucking mad as shit. The one guy said, I'm sorry, sometimes they'll take up to an hour to show up. I'm like, fuck. And when my hands went down to jingle the keys, my keys, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, I can make it home. I got it. I was a little lost. I just had to find Tennessee Avenue, and it was just straight down that. It was like a wagon wheel there in Tallahassee. It's a circle that goes around, and you got spokes that are the main streets. I just needed Tennessee. Take a left, and then go right down to the house. But so I'm slowing down at each intersection, trying to see what the name of the street. Blue lights come on, and then only because I kept slowing down, go up to the next block, slow down, and I was drunk, man. There was no way around it. I mean, I tried the wrestler thing, like, hey, man, I just wrestled in town. I'm lost. It ain't worked that time. So DUI, and that now I just was finished up a 5-year, and you get a DUI. What's going to happen now? It's going to be jail time, and I may never get licensed again. And that 5 years of not being able to drive in today's world, not being able to drive, shit. I mean, when you depend on others to pick you up, I mean, they might have other things they got to do.
Right.
But so, I'd had it, let's go ahead and, I don't want to live the rest of my life like these last 5 years. Fuck that, excuse my language, but fuck that shit. So I got home to Rod's place. He cut his honeymoon short and came home. And I think I threw my cell phone against the wall or something. I borrowed his cell phone. I went walking. I called my girl and my brother, because to me, I was saying my final goodbye without telling them.